Well, hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great week. Thank you for spending part of it with us, and welcome to Rams Revealed. I'm your host, JB Long, and in 2024, we're presented by Sleep Number, the Rams sleep and wellness partner. Our guest today was instrumental, as you know, in LA's first win of the season. Now he and the Rams are off to Chicago to face the Bears in Week 4. Welcome to rookie defensive tackle Braden Fiske. Great to have you on Rams Revealed.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
Congrats on your first NFL win.
Yeah, no, I think that was much needed, especially at home, and no, it was cool. That was a pretty cool experience, especially getting down to the wire there. I was really, really glad we pulled that one off.
No doubt. Any chance you're like, are you friends with Joshua Cardi? Like, could you get us an autograph?
Yeah, we are now. We needed that.
What'd you make of your first taste of that rivalry in that environment?
It's a lot more 49er fans than I expected. They definitely packed the house too. But no, it was cool, man. It was like I said, we needed that against a rival. And, yeah, it was and they're starting to get a little chippy. It was cool. I mean, I was just glad that we were able to pull that one off, and the environment definitely proved, it was a rivalry.
Let's go through some of your key plays. Let's start at the end of the first half. Agent Zero gets the strip sack, and you're right there for the recovery. Back-to-back weeks pouncing on a football.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of communicating prior to, run a rush game there, but, BY, he saw his opportunity to go make a play, and sure enough, I mean, that's a cool thing about, a fumble recovery. You never know when your opportunity is going to come. It just kind of happens, It's the ball's on the ground. You got to make a play. You got to jump on it. And, hopefully you don't get dove on too much by other guys. So I think my guy Kobe Turner kind of helped shield a little bit to keep that ball there. So, no, it was pretty good.
Not as easy as you make it look, I imagine. Like, that thing can bounce all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, especially when you kind of land on it, kind of pushes you around, like knocks the wind out of you a little bit. But, no, it's yeah, it gets a little dangerous under there in the pile.
Totally. That kept points off the board at the end of the first half. Now let's go to the end of the game.
Yep.
Your third down rush, kind of spinning away from contact, finding Purdy to force the 55-yard field goal miss. How critical was that?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think you look at the whole, the game as a whole. I mean, and even speaking from the Cardinals game the week prior, being able to keep the quarterback in the pocket because, they're always looking for those little lanes to attack and to get out of and, find space. And, I think, as a rush unit, you got to feel when those rush lanes start to, expand. So, I think both me and Kobe at the same time kind of felt that. Both of us spun back like, no, this can't happen, especially in a crucial situation. And, 3rd and 10 could get into, easy first down past the 50, get them in field goal territory. So, we got to get the ball back. So, I mean, I just think, as a unit, we did a great job we kind of expanded and brought it right back in, which was huge, and, got him down, and the rest was history.
Is that instinct, like sixth sense, or did you see something that made you know it was time?
A little bit. I mean, definitely instinct of, I feel myself getting too high up the field. It's like, I got to get back because, we have a rush lane. You got to, especially if we're bringing 4, we got 4 points on the quarterback. I'm like, I'm missing my spot, And like, it's like you got to get back in your rush lane. And sure enough, that's where he was trying to attack.
You had a half dozen pressures yesterday as a team, some 27 by some measures. Let's talk about converting those pressures into sacks, right? Yeah. You go from Kyler to Purdy, next up Caleb. Like, that's right. A gauntlet, right?
For sure.
Give us your sense of the week-to-week focus on improving that area and capitalizing.
Yeah, definitely. I think, we talk about a lot in the, D-line room of taking that extra step, taking that last step to get to the quarterback, not leaving your feet too early. And I think, just being able to finish the play. I mean, at the end of the day, you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving plays on the table for the team to be able to, extend drives to the offense, whatever it may be, get the ball back. But, yeah, I think the emphasis is definitely just body control in general. Just you get to the quarterback, just having the focus on not, the hips, not the eyes. That's a big thing. Quarterback can deceive you with the eye, moving his head too much. And, you start getting out of whack.
Sure.
We're bigger dudes, we're trying to move, but, and I think as a whole unit, it comes from, keeping him in the pocket. Because once he gets outside the hashes, I mean, it's anything's game. I mean, he can run wherever he wants, but you keep him inside that pocket, that movement space is, real condensed. So I think, it goes hand in hand, by yourself, how you're going to attack it, but also as a unit, keeping him in the pocket, which is been huge the first 3 weeks, and I think it's going to be even bigger going into week 4.
V8 better than any of us. Like, how confident are you that he's going to calibrate that and Jared's going to start collecting some especially?
Especially, we actually talked about it today, just how much we're missing out on and, just, how much better we can be. And, we've been through this even last year at Florida State, going into week 4, neither of us had a sack. I was like, all right, it's time to step it up. Like, we got to finish these plays. You're getting home, but like you said, pressure and sack is a big difference, especially on the stat sheet and the paycheck too. But we kind of both we're gonna tone this in, tune it in, and we're gonna get this right.
Did you say that last year going into week 4? Is that about when it clicked?
We were looking at each other like, hey, man, like,
Okay.
you know, we're getting there too much to not
Few
be getting
games
these
in,
sacks.
is the
Yeah, a
point.
few games in, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Before we get to your personal story, which I'm really looking forward to this
Yeah.
week especially, I want to compliment your swag and the simplicity of it. Like, you go out there on game day and it's just bare hands,
Yeah.
you against the world. Has
Definitely.
it always been that way?
Honestly, no. So my first, few years in college, I always wore gloves, and I was playing up north, so it didn't really make a difference. But when I got down to Florida State, you're playing in the humidity. It's muggy at practice. I mean, by period 6, 7 of practice, you're just drenched, and you're trying to grab guys' jerseys, and your hands are just slipping right off. So my D-line coach was like, "Now take those gloves off. You're done wearing gloves." Odell Hagens at Florida State, quick shout out. But he was like, "Nah, take them gloves off, son. You're slipping up. Your hands are slipping off. Take them gloves off." So I was like, "All right, I'll try." I never wanted to. I was like, "Man, you cut your hands on me. Look at my hands now. I got cuts all over." But yeah, the first time I did, I was like, "Oh man, I'm grabbing jerseys." You get a better feel for like when you grab onto somebody. So it definitely changed my game. So something I just rolled with, and like now people are like, "Oh, he's gritty," or whatever, because they see the guy with no gloves, and it just kind of fits the mold for how I play ball. But yeah, I think there's some other guys you see him in practice not wearing gloves. I've seen Kobe without them. I've seen Verse take them off here and there. So yeah, we might be making an impact.
All right, but you reserve the right, like when the Rams go to New York deep in the year, if it's snowing or something, you might go back to gloves.
Them gloves might.
Okay.
we'll play it. We'll play how it goes. But them gloves might be coming back on if it's snowing.
All right. You're no stranger to cold weather. Let's get to growing up in Michigan City,
Yeah, Michigan City.
Northwest Indiana.
That's correct.
On the shore of Lake Michigan, about an hour
Yeah. About
from
out
Soldier
Chicago,
Field, where you're
yeah.
going to be this week.
Yeah.
All right, so let's first talk NFL fandom. Did that make you a Bears fan growing up, or did you have other allegiances?
Definitely not a Bears fan. My dad was a big Bears fan. I grew up a big Colts fan. I grew up in the area, the Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison. That was my guys. Bob Sanders on defense. Like, big Colts fan growing up. But that whole area, Michigan City, it's right around that lake, Lake Michigan. So yeah, it's a big Bears country up there. So I was kind of like the odd man out being a Colts fan. But
Where'd you watch that Super Bowl?
so I got family down in Indianapolis. So yeah, in 07, 06, 07, I think, winter of 07, we went down to Indianapolis, and a lot of my Indianapolis family, obviously Colts fans. So got to watch it down there and, see the Colts win. So that was pretty cool.
And coincidentally, you're like watching that film this week to prepare for your game
Right.
against Caleb and the
it's
Bears.
pretty, full
How are
circle.
the ticket requests for Soldier Field in week 4?
Definitely a lot of people want to go. I mean, I wish I get, especially being a Bears country. I think people thinking, oh, you just get unlimited tickets in the NFL. It don't really work that way. But, a few no's, catch it on TV, not a problem there. But, yeah, definitely we're getting some tickets for the fam, that's for sure.
Okay, so members of your inner circle will be there.
Inner
to see
circle will
you.
be there, yeah. And everybody else, I'll give you a good wave on the way out.
Let's keep it going with your youth football days. Braden, you led your squad to the 2010 Junior Pee Wee National Championship at Disney.
Yeah. that's crazy, yeah.
Are we going to be able to surface some photos from those days?
Yeah, you dig up the right places, you'll find some photos.
What
there.
was the name of that team?
We were the Michigan City Wolves, Pop
Michigan
Warner
City
squad.
Wolves. And you were playing defensive tackle back then?
No, I was playing linebacker and running back. That was my main two positions. Yeah. And coincidentally, we actually played Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions in the national championship there in 2010.
Come on.
He was the running back for the Yorba Linda Bulldogs.
How great is that?
Yeah,
Did you
pretty cool.
revisit that with him in week 1 by any chance?
I did not. I
Okay.
was a little upset about the loss, so
Yeah.
I tried it off the field.
Your NFL debut, Sunday Night Football, is probably not the best time to be like, hey, remember Disney and Pee Wee days?
It wasn't a good look.
Yeah, okay. All right, so then you become a prep offensive lineman. By the time you're in high school, you're on the O-line?
Yeah, go to get to high school. Really, my first year or two, I was playing a lot of defense. First year or two, we get a new head coach, Coach Mason. He kind of takes over our program, and he says, "Nope, you're playing offensive line from here on out. It's what's best for the team." And there was definitely a lot of hurt feelings there, and I think both me and my dad were just like, "What do you mean?" Like I was playing good at defensive end, and my coach moves me to offensive line and strictly offensive line. And I think at the time I was like, what's this guy doing? He's out of his mind. But sure enough, I kind of bit the bullet on it. I was like, what? If this was best for the team, we'll make it happen. Try to find some enjoyment from this. And then luckily I got to college, and Coach Esposito, my D coordinator, was like, we're gonna bring you over here back to the good side,
Sure.
play some D line again. But,
I want to ask you about that recruiting process just a second.
yeah.
But it kind of dawned on me. Like, did you take anything away from viewing the game from an offensive lineman's perspective that you now use against them as a defensive pass rusher?
Probably not enough. I think high school. I think high school it's a way different, way of playing the game than
Sure.
in college and in the NFL for sure. But yeah, maybe a little bit of just maybe kind of understanding concepts of how offensive linemen try to run different run schemes. But I think I spent more time beat up about why I'm playing offensive line than actually trying to gain something from it. But
Maybe life and football lessons
Yeah,
about
you're right.
how to be a team player.
you're right.
All right, so then what were your college options? What did that look like, and how'd you choose?
I really had one offer coming out of high school. Like the guy brought up, Coach Esposito. He's actually a D-line coach in Michigan now. He came to my high school and around the end of my junior year, and it was kind of when that recruiting process is building up. I mean, I had been going to 20, 30 of the one-day camps all over the Midwest, the Big Ten MAC schools, and he came to my high school, and I was like, who the hell is Western Michigan? I had no idea. Just kind of going through the recruiting process because when you're in high school, you guys are set on the big schools. I want to go to the Ohio States. In my area was Notre Dame, those type of schools. But he says, hey, just come to the camp, try it out, whatever. That was June before my senior year, and I go to the camp, had no idea where Kalamazoo, Michigan was. Never thought I'd find myself in Kalamazoo, Michigan, but sure enough, go to that camp, and that happened to be my first offer, and they offered me on a Monday. I committed that same Friday, so
awesome.
That was pretty cool.
5 years of action there with the Broncos?
Solid 5 years of action.
How would you describe that season of your life? Like, what kind of player were you, and where do you think you might go after that?
Ooh, from the being in the MAC?
Yeah, just like before we get to Florida State, like take yourself back to being a Bronco. Are you like, hey, I'm an all-league caliber player. I might have a future in this. Or you're like, I'm just going to maximize my time here at Western Michigan and see what comes next.
Yeah, I think it kind of built from my first year on. When I was a freshman there, I think I had to learn a lot. I learned a lot of lessons of, I was always known in high school as being the hardest worker, but when I got to college, there's a big difference between a hard high school worker and a hard college worker. I mean, there's a lot of extra hours spent to be a hard college worker, and those are kind of things I kind of learned, throughout my first 3 years there. And after that third year, when I started, I was just like, you know what, man, I'm putting all my chips in. Like, I really want to make a career out of this. I want to do something with this. I had battled a few injuries early on in my career, and that kind of set me back, at least mentally, of like, where my ceiling was, where, my floor was, rather. But, I think as time went on, really into my senior year, I was like, no, like I'm going to make it after this. Like I have an opportunity. You talk to a few agents, and that's a whole different process. But even my coach would give me the support of, hey, like, you can make it here. Like you have a good opportunity. Just keep being you, keep working hard. And sure enough, after that 2022 season, it's looking good. Not great, but I had been saying, hey, like you got a chance to go in the late rounds. You could be an undrafted guy, which in my head was like, man, that's huge. Like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. And boom, last few weeks of season, right shoulder, got to get it worked on. I was like, oh man, like everything I put in the season, it's like, damn, man, like this was supposed to be the year, right? And then get the shoulder surgery. The idea was, hey, I'm gonna come back to Western Michigan for a 6th college football season. Where I was like, man, I never in my dreams thought this would be the case, because you come into college, like, I'm gonna do my 4 and get out of here, make the NFL, right? Which, there's other plans for it. And so a lot kind of went into what happened. I was gonna come back, then my head coach gets fired at Western Michigan. Like, oh well, looks like I'm not coming back to Western Michigan, which it would have been an option, but I had put together a good enough season in 2022 to say, hey, like, let's see what this transfer portal's talking about. And I guess that kind of leads me into the the fairy tale that Florida State ended up being.
No doubt. Real quick to follow up, though, if not for the shoulder, maybe you try your chance in the professional waters 100%. After that 22 season. If that means college free agency, so be it.
Yeah, it was no doubt. Yeah, I was gonna declare for sure.
All right, so instead your coaching staff gets terminated. You step into the transfer portal waters, and that's a new frontier at this time, right? Like NIL, it's
way different than I ever expected, knew, had any knowledge of. It was,
What was that experience like?
Well, I hopped in the portal, I want to say it was like November 28th. So since my coach was fired, I was able to hop in the portal early. So, or a little earlier, like a week earlier than most kids could that, were, just transferring to transfer. So I hop in, and like 40 minutes later, my phone is just nonstop getting calls. Like coach saying, hey, this is so-and-so from so-and-so. I want to offer you. And then, it just kept on going for probably 2 weeks straight. My phone just doesn't stop. It's just going and going, and my parents are getting blown up. My coaches from high school, athletic director, you name it, were getting blown up about me. Of like, hey, like, what's up with this kid? What's he want to do? And like, college coaches are ruthless, man. I mean, this transfer portal is blowing up into something that's, like it turns teams around. So I guess I understand, but like I couldn't imagine being an 18-year-old kid being like one of those blue chip recruits going through this. I mean, this is madness. I had to just put my phone away and say, all right, I'm done with it. Like, but yeah, I mean, I'm babbling now, but just going through it, yeah. I mean, multiple schools are offering. They're asking, hey, what do you want? Which that part was pretty crazy as well. Just like, what do you mean? What do I want? I want to come play football. But there's a whole different element now with this NIL and what else they can do for you. But long story short, Florida State made a big impact. It kind of came down to Florida State, USC, and Notre Dame. Go to Notre Dame, want to get out of the cold. Came to USC, and unfortunately, I was like, I don't really think LA is for me. Kind of ironic, right? And then go to Florida State. And I was like, you know what, this could be the place. I saw what they were building, and sure enough, go 13-0, and yeah, it was a great experience.
Couple of things. One, babbling is what Rams Revealed is all about. So don't apologize for that. Keep it rolling. You're telling me you could have been college teammates with Caleb, though.
Yeah, he was actually, when I came out here, we went to Lincoln Riley's house, and sure enough, Caleb Williams, he shows up. So I've met him before, yeah. They were recruiting me heavily to come out here, but LA was not for me at the time.
Had to postpone that for just a minute.
Yeah,
Mike Norvell in Florida State, though, won you over how?
One, Coach Norvell, I think, he's not even just the best motivator, but as a coach, I just think what he brings to the table, like, I couldn't deny what he was presenting. I knew they were going to be successful just by what they were bringing back, and two, like his plan for me. I mean, he knew my situation. I'm a 6th-year senior. I'm about to be 23 years old, going to my last year of college. I'm a little banged up. He's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna come in. You just be you. We're gonna take care of you, and I know the rest will take care of itself. And there was gonna be some competition in the room. I mean, they had some really good guys coming back. I mean, Jared was coming back. There was a few guys in the interior that were coming back as well. But I was like, I can be an addition to this room, and I was confident in myself to be able to take over the room in a way. I mean, I'm not saying that like I did, but I just mean like be able to come in and make it a big time impact, and we could have a real successful season. Because I think if you're dominant up front, you can be dominant as a team. That's something I've always believed in, and sure enough, we had one of the best defensive fronts in the country, and it's just I honestly couldn't have worked out better. Especially you look back to 2022 of just like how that finished, thinking, oh man, the world's ending. I thought I was going to the NFL, and then could have been a late round draft pick, come back for a 6th year, end up being in the 2nd round, and, being able to come to a team like the Rams, playing with Jared again. It's just crazy how it all just kind of unfolded. Yeah.
Do you want to take a quick sidebar on the current state of the Seminoles? Anything you need to get off your chest after their first win?
Oh, no, man, that's hey, the road to 9-3 now, baby. We're on a roll now. Had to take some lumps in the first half, but we're gonna be all right.
All right, let's fast forward then to your Senior Bowl experience, where you were voted the top defensive lineman on the American team during the week of practice. And I emphasize American team because you actually did not play for that team at the end of that week, did you?
Did not. It was kind of a crazy the week in general was just hectic. I mean, spend the whole week, meet with scouts. You're going to the all these meetings with coaches. You're going to practice, so it's everything's going to different events around the city of Mobile. But yeah, leading up the whole week, playing with the American team, going against the same guys the entire week, and then the week or the morning of game day, Mr. Nagy texts me, says, hey, can you meet me in the lobby at 8:30? I'm thinking, what's going on? Go over there. Both my D-line coaches and the national team D-line coaches sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh man, what's going on? Like, what I do? Not really sure what's happening. He kind of just looks at me and says, hey, like, what would you say if we asked you to play on the national team today? And I didn't really think much of it. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Last day here, let's just go play ball. Let's get a game in. National team was down to 3 D linemen, so it kind of made sense, get somebody over there. I didn't really understand the history of it, but it ended up being, the first player to ever do something like that. And it, like you talked about with getting the defensive lineman of the week, kind of just added to the story. It felt, that was a goal going into there, just, show going into the week, just showing who I was and, what I can make of it. And then that kind of just was like the cherry on top of, hey, like, this is who I am. When I'm willing to play ball at any time, for whoever it is, it's just suit up and go play. And we ended up getting the win, so that was pretty cool too. Beating the guys I was practicing with all week.
How about that?
I caught a lot of crap for that, but everyone on the team didn't understand. They thought I just left. They thought, I wanted to go play, but no, I literally was told, hey, you're gonna play for this team, So it all worked out. It was a pretty cool moment.
We know how much Les Snead and his team appreciate the data points from the Senior Bowl, so I'm not surprised that you ended up with LA. Over the course of the spring, I jotted down like some of the things I heard about you as you became a Ram, and I just want to relay some of them to you and let you reflect on, you're blind to all this, right? Until you become a member of the organization. But behind the scenes, people are saying he was the #1 leadership candidate in the draft, too good to be true, one of the best overall packages I've ever seen, an absolute must-get guy. Like, now being here, how does that feel to receive those compliments?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super special, especially hearing it from the team that drafts you, because you're going through the whole process, and you trust that there's a team out there that wants you, and there's a team out there that sees you in that way, but you can't help but hear all the negatives that people have about you, because that's most of the things that you see out there, because there's always teams trying to tear you down and get you for a cheap price, whatever it may be. Being able to hear that's pretty special. Just going through the process and kind of how my whole story kind of shaped out was like, I trust the work I've put in. My journey is a little bit longer than others, however it may have shaped out, but I've always put everything I had into this game, from a leadership standpoint, from just playing on the field, just leaving everything out there in the field. So to kind of have that backed up by somebody else's opinion at this level is pretty cool to hear. And especially where you drafted me, where they took me, especially trading up to give me, it made it even more special. And from that moment on, I was like, let's get to work, because I want to fulfill that, and I want to show them that's who I really am. I want to show the organization, the fan base, the NFL in general, that's who I am and who I'm going to be on the field. So that is it's pretty cool to hear. Pretty special.
There was that indelible video that went viral of you and Jared and your draft experience. I think that story is well covered. What else happened behind the scenes, say Thursday into Friday, as you became a professional that maybe we haven't heard about?
Right. I mean, Thursday, it was kind of a toss-up. I could kind of fall into that, 28 to 32 range. It wasn't a guarantee, but, I kind of thought it was possible. So we got together Friday night, close friends, close family. It was more of a get-together than anything. And, we're sitting around, and I think it was around pick 21, 22, I get a phone call. It's kind of the hard drive to say, oh, man, what's about to happen here? Sure enough, somebody answered the phone and say, hey, this is Mike McDaniels with the Dolphins. And I of course, I hit them with, oh, yes, sir, what's going on? And then, boom, they hang up the phone. And I'm sitting there like, come on, man. Like, seriously? People around me are like, is this really happening? I'm like, sorry, guys. Everybody relax. I'm kind of just sitting there like, damn, man. Like, come on, man. Like, I didn't think it was going to happen, but to hear that, you're like, damn, did I really get picked? That's only, when it first happens, right? But anyways, fast forward, Jared obviously gets picked, and, move on to day 2, Friday morning. Yeah, and I had a good feeling, it's got to happen today. It's going to happen today. The moment didn't really set until later in the day. I spent the day kind of just doing stuff to kind of keep me occupied. I go get a workout in Friday morning. But once it started getting closer to 6 o'clock, the heart's starting to beat a little bit. I'm getting dressed, getting ready for the day, or for the draft party. And then especially when we got to the draft party, we had it at Zorn Brewery in Michigan City, and I had a ton of friends and family around 180 people. There's people outside trying to get in. Like, when I finally walked in that building, you could feel that energy. You could feel like it felt like a game day atmosphere. Like, oh man, like, it's time to go, it's time to play. But it's more of just a waiting game. So that's when the anxiety sets in. But it was cool, get that phone call and kind of all the dreams come true, end up in L.A. after all, and it's a pretty special moment.
Yeah, just a year later than maybe you could have.
Right.
Time now, Braden, for the wind down. It's brought to us by Sleep Number. Each week here on Rams Revealed, we get insight into how sleep and recovery impacts performance in the NFL. So in addition to becoming a Ram, it basically comes with a Sleep Number bed. I hear there's like 100% participation from training camp all the way through now that you're on the roster. True that you have a Sleep Number bed?
Yeah, I have a Sleep Number bed now, and I got a little taste of it in training camp. We actually had Sleep Number beds provided to us for training camp, so that's where I got the first taste of it. And then just about 2 weeks ago, I had my own Sleep Number bed delivered about 2 weeks ago. It's been great to us so far. My girlfriend, she's a softer sleeper, so her sleep number could be a little bit different. I'm more firm, so I turn mine up a little bit, and I think the most fun part about it is checking out our Sleep Number scores the next day and kind of getting a grasp for how we're sleeping, and it's been great so far.
Yeah, sleep how it's supposed to be. Competitive sport.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's finish with a few lighthearted questions and have you out the door to enjoy your day off, okay? On Sunday at SoFi Stadium, you may have seen Rams season ticket members were gifted a Sean McVay bobblehead. In fact, we strategically placed one over your shoulder. You've probably been had this weird sense that he's watching you during this program. What do you make of his likeness?
He's not exactly what I thought he looked like on a bobblehead. Definitely wouldn't have one in my own house. I see him enough around here, but I mean, he looks good on a shelf.
We'll keep him there. He's got a nice spot.
Yeah, he's good there.
I've been told that you've got some investment acumen that you got into the stock market at a pretty young age.
Yeah, definitely started early on, more so in college. I think maybe in high school when I was messing around with that, Dogecoin stuff, whatever it was. That was like my first, oh, you can make money doing this type of stuff, right? And then obviously got smarter throughout college. Started making some money through NIL and, just investing and kind of seeing that compound and seeing the turnover from, investing into, more index funds at the time, starting to work more individual now. But it's definitely a good little, hobby to have.
Good bull market on top of the world.
Been doing great so far.
There you go. And finally, let's finish with some food, like a defensive lineman's favorite topic, right?
That's
I understand
right, yeah.
You found a few local haunts that you enjoy.
Definitely, yeah. Two of my favorite spots, the one down here on Topanga, Biddy and Pasole's, cash only, so make sure you take some cash. You're going to stop in there. They've been great to me, and same with Tacos Reyes down here in the area as well. I mean, they've been awesome. Great birria tacos. Birria Soles has a birria fries, so if you're looking to dabble on that, it's been awesome for me.
All right, so like a regional Mexican specialty has captured your heart, huh?
Oh, I love it, yeah.
And I see you campaigning for a few free meals based on this name dropping.
You never know.
Let's see if we can help you out, though.
No free shout-outs.
Maybe someone in the audience has a recommendation. We can broaden your horizons around the greater LA area, okay?
That'd be great.
Here's to a good meal tonight, some rest and recovery, and congrats on your first win in the National Football League. Here's to many more.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, for Braden Fiske, I'm JB Long. Thank you, everyone, for being with us for another episode of Rams Revealed, presented by Sleep Number.